okay, the other side has come along, they've gotten your NDA template, and they've edited it. They put red lines on there. Now what are we supposed to do? In this video, we're gonna break down some of the most common red lines so you know what they mean and what you could do. Now, first off, if you're already using the NDA template from the CEOLegalcoach, it was drafted to avoid many of the common NDA red lines. So the few we're gonna get to in this video are the ones that you just can't get rid of across the board. If you're using a different NDA template, know that you are likely to experience additional red lines, especially those not included in this video. But that doesn't mean these aren't important. So let's start at the top, which is one of the most important sections on any NDA, the definition of confidential information. This section, you might see two types of edits. The first is, there might be an edit to say that only information that is indicated as confidential on it or at the time of disclosure is going to be protected. I find this one irkingly annoying because what it says is if you don't physically put confidential information on your document or in your email or say it when you're about to give a presentation, it's not protected. And I quite frankly think that that's a BS way of trying to get out of protecting someone's information. Because what if you forget to mark it or say it? Do you just suddenly lose it altogether? So, well, I don't love this one. It does happen because sometimes the other party says, how are we supposed to know if it's confidential if you don't tell us? So this one's up to you and how you want to proceed, but do be mindful of the obligation it's going to put on your company if you put it there. Because if it's there and you don't indicate something's confidential when you disclose it, it's not protected no matter how important it is. And the second edit you might see in the definition of confidential information section is about which parties can the other party share your information with. Now on the CEOLegalcoach template, this is a sentence about representatives. And if you're on a different template, it might be representatives, persons, affiliates. It might have a different definition. And the list can sometimes get really long, like half a page long, which is a bit ridiculous because that's what the other party is saying they want to give your information to. So chances are letting that get too long, it might increase the odds of your information ending up in the wrong hands, even accidentally. So when somebody goes ahead and adds anything to that list, you're going to want to think about, is it somebody you're comfortable having your information? Especially regarding the purpose. What's the reason you're giving your information here? And is that somebody who needs to see that? Like, does their accountant need to see your legal information? Probably not. It might be overboard. And so what I like to do, and this is in your NDA template if you're using the CEOLegalcoach, is it says that no matter what's in that list, even if they're listed there, they must have a need to know that information for the purpose that you've exchanged it. Otherwise, they're not allowed to see it. And I think that's a great restriction for any type of NDA that you might be using to protect your information from just going further than it needs to. Purpose. Purpose is another area that gets edited from time to time. And the purpose is the sentence that you listed the reason why you're going to give the information. You only want it to be used for what you want it to be used for. And if you're on the CEOLegalcoach template, it's called the purpose. But if you're on another one, it might be called the reason or the project. So it's going to have a similar purpose on your NDA, but it might have a different definition or word there. Now, you've probably already populated this section before you sent it to the other side. It's in your customization guide to do so. So if the other side is editing it, it's something we want to think about here. Because why was your description of why you think you're sending your information not valid enough for them? They might be trying to overly broad it and use it for other things. I have seen this go awry. Now at the same time, they might be trying to clarify it so that you can't use their information in a way they don't anticipate. So having an edit here is not a bad thing, but it is something we want to make sure is properly defined of scope, because you don't want to let them give it to a lot of representatives and have a lot of possible uses, because if you gave it for one reason and they use it for another and you had permission on the NDA to do that, you're not going to have the protections you think you do. Now, a final thing that I see as a trend in NDAs this year is that people like to add non-competes and non-solicitation clauses to them. And you know what I do? I scratch them right off. I don't think I've ever approved a client signing them. And here's why. You're at the NDA stage, which means you're both parties looking to explore entering products, services, business relationships. You haven't actually established it yet. Otherwise, you'd have a contract, like a sales contract, right? Non-competes and non-solicitations are meant for when money starts to get exchanged, not when you're thinking about working together. You don't want to maybe contract yourself out of a future product that you might be making. Or what if their company is massive, right? And they've got tons of divisions with tons of projects. How are you supposed to ever know, not just now, but over the whole life of your NDA, that you can promise never to accidentally maybe kind of compete with them? It's a lot to promise when you don't even know if you're going to do business. So I say those never belong on an NDA at this stage, but they may be responsible things to do a little later once you're on your actual services or product agreements. And there you have it, the most common red lines you're likely to see. They're not too bad, are they? And they're all things you know you can definitely handle about your business. Now, of course, if there's something we've missed, go ahead, list it in the comments below, and we'll work to get back to you as soon as we can. I'm Acacia, the CEO Legal Coach, and I got you, my friend, because I know you got it.